Good day, traders, and welcome back to the insanity. Hello, welcome back, welcome back. Today is Tuesday, September 3rd, 2013, and we are going to look at the S&P, the Dow, the tranny. We're going to look at some new developments that are taking place here on the home front. As you can see, we're looking at the emini S&P on a daily bar. This trend line, by the way, goes back pretty far. Take a look at it. This trend line goes all the way back here and has held quite well. So yesterday, when the market bounced off this trend line, we opened up today and literally took off. In fact, just a little while ago, this day looked more like this. It was up here, and its settlement, or I should say it's where it was closing last, was up here. So it looked pretty sharp for a little while. But let me show you what's developing here, and we'll decide what we want to do with it. Now that the market is lower, of course the day is not over yet. This can easily turn and head back up. But there are a few things happening right here that we need to look at. First off, let's look back here. I've always taught my Omniacs that a small head and shoulders in a rather bullish market, which this is, as you can see, it's going up, is nothing more than a continuation pattern, and it takes the market higher. Not to be fooled by a small head and shoulders, which is usually just a continuation pattern. Now, of course, traders, a much larger head and shoulders, if one develops, is a topping pattern. But this is a very small head and shoulders, and a small head and shoulders many times is nothing more than a continuation pattern. So with that in mind, I've got to look at this and decide what to call it. It literally is a small head and shoulders. You have to call it what it is. I mean, if you circle these things right here, it pans out. So you've got a small head and shoulders right here. Is it going to be a continuation pattern or not? The first thing an analyst has to do is go with the larger of the two patterns if you are someone who trades patterns. The larger of the patterns is the continuation little head and shoulders. This is the larger of the patterns. But there is a smaller pattern in here which we need to watch out for, and that is this bear flag. And this is something we spoke about in our last video, right before the holiday. You've got to watch this bear flag because it could very well be a bear flag that has developed in the right shoulder, and this thing is going to take us down. So really, there's a lot of indecision happening right here. And of course, we've got to look at the other markets to figure out what comes next. But in your S&P, you're holding a major trend line, and for longer term view, you've got to look at that and love it. But then for short-term trading, there is this. Now again, when the market was higher today, when we started off, on last night and today, the market was much higher. You could have said, all right, we're breaking out of the bear flag. We're on our way out of here. It won't be a bear flag. But of course, this is the middle of the day, and the market's come back down, and it's gyrating. I just want to point out what's going on here. There is no clear signal yet. It will show itself today, tomorrow. It's going to happen, but you got to be careful. It's not just the ES. Look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is no different, traders. NASDAQ's got a bigger, if you ask me, head and shoulders up here. I mean, it just looks larger, even though it took the same amount of days, but you've got another. So, yeah, there's no way I could take my eyes off of that. But in the context of this market, it's in a bull market, right? That is a bull market, traders. I could never call this bearish. It goes like that. So this is a small continuation pattern in a big bull market. That's what we're supposed to view it as. We are not supposed to be tricked by this and call it a topping head and shoulders. But there is the right shoulder, and if we cannot break out of it, it will end up morphing into a bear flag. So caution today. And if you look at this right here, once again, it's not a perfect bear flag, but yeah, you can call that a bear flag. Now, I would say that you can tighten this up a little bit, right? You can put the flag lines here. And as of today, this was actually popping out a little bit, but it's back in there. So caution, traders. I'm hoping this thing turns today and heads back up and gets out of the flag and shows us it will be a continuation pattern up here in the NASDAQ. But, that would be guessing, which we don't do here. We'll let it tell us what to do. Now, granted, today I had a bullish omni arrow. I had to wait for a pullback and get long. I could not sell into this because the omni arrow was straight up. The Omni arrow could change today. We'll find out. But hey, it's only midday. So a few developments here, traders. So that's NASDAQ and S&P. Russell next. Where the Russell can be a little more troublesome is how, depending upon how you draw the line, it looks like it already broke the line. But if we grab this and go back to these lows here, which did actually take place, watch how the line shifts. So, depends upon how you want to draw this line. So again, a lot of question in these charts today. A lot of question as to, is this a continuation head and shoulders? Is this a bear flag? One's bullish, one's bearish, traders. That is a very difficult call to make. Now, again, I had a bullish Omni, so the bullish Omni tells me it is a continuation small head and shoulders pattern. But that bullish Omni can be green or could turn red before this day is over. And if that's the case, we go with the downside tonight. So I am here to say that really very difficult to tell you what's going to happen until we get a settlement today. Once we get our settlement today, we'll find out for sure. Full volume. Lots of traders are back from the holiday. I assure you that trading desks will be at full volume by Wednesday. Lots of traders still trickling in Tuesday. But by Wednesday, you will have full volume. You will have a lot of ideas. You will have traders sitting there trying to figure out what to do with their portfolios. And that is something that we'll have to deal with. So, what is this? I don't know, traders. It's going to get very tricky, but it looks slightly uglier when we look at the two markets that didn't participate in yesterday and today's trading. Well, today, of course, it opened, but last night. And one of them is the industrial average. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we've got something different. We don't have a head and shoulders here, traders. We've got something completely different. And that is just a bear flag after a first bear flag. You've got another second bear flag. Now this one, you know, it's not the leader, but we certainly want to keep our eyes on that. We did breach that major support. That was the first one to go. Now there is this, traders, another reason to get slightly happy earlier today. Look at how we were popping out of this channel today. This Tuesday bar was all the way up here a little while ago. So let's look at it this way. No flag. We were here a little while ago. That was promising. It popped out, right? It was like, wow, look, it popped out, promising. But look where it is right now, midday and chop time. So it is going to, we're going to get some rather strong signals, I'm assuming, after the close today. From Omni, it's probably going to be pointing straight in one direction. We will see what direction that is. I'd like to hope this thing recovers. We need to get out of this channel first. Then there's the tranny. In the tranny, you know, not a whole lot of upside that I have to share with you. I don't have a thing to say on this tranny except for let's hope that it holds. And we don't do a lot of hoping here. Not a lot to say about the tranny. There is no really bullish signal here, except for it's a small inverted head and shoulders. It's a small upright head and shoulders. That's about the only thing. Barring that, you know, this is a, take away this, it's kind of a bearish pattern. You had your high, a pullback, rally to a lower high, a lower low. This pattern is bearish. So really, there's not much we can do but wait for the developments this afternoon and see where we close. So that's what I've been looking at. I'm not in love with what I'm seeing here, but at the same time, remember, we are in a big bull market, and the S&P has maintained this major trend line for quite some time, and the S&P is the grand kahuna, traders, as we know. But then you go to what can normally be considered our leader, and this is not the best looking sign that we can have. So signals are starting to point to midday today. If we settle the market right now, snapshot right now, that is a bear flag, and we would be looking for the downside. So I am just here to say, traders, please use caution here. We are at like a teeter-totter. We're at a spot where it's either going to drop or pop. Omni had a lot of flip-flops last week, and flip-flops tell us that we are about to vacate the area. The shorter-term analysis will tell us which way we are going to vacate. So this is what I wanted to show you, traders. I thought it was pretty good action, and it was something that we should have all looked at. So I wanted to bring it to your attention. Now, remember, the day did not exist when you look at ES. What we were looking at slightly earlier was a market that rallied very strong, had a pullback, and somewhere right around here we considered maybe now we're going to stay here and rally up. It seems to be getting a little bit through the support, but obviously it has not broken major support yet. So, very, very questionable market here. This market, if it was the only market to look at, is absolutely bearish, telltale bearish, absolutely, if it were the only market. But then you drop this channel on there and you say, wow, we settle above that channel and we've broken out of it. So traders, a lot of indecision today. Best bet is once we're out of this trade, we sit back and do nothing. I'm assuming it'll rally up a little bit and let us out if you're not out already. When it rallies up, I think we get out and sit back and observe the settlement, because the settlement will be very, very instrumental to tonight's trading. Traders, this is what I had for you. Thank you so much for showing up. A lot of indecision. I could not give you a definite up or down here, but I am showing you that there are certain days that it's almost not possible to give one. Now, coming into this morning, Omni had its up arrow, but Omni's arrow is about sideways right now. We'll see what that proves out by the end of the day. Traders, thank you so much for coming to this class. I hope this helps to keep you in tune with markets moving forward. Let's keep a close eye on today's settlement.